Welcome to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. Hey, I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Tuesday, December 15th, 2020, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing well today. Well, it's been a very busy day once again. We have a jam-packed show again today. A lot going on in the news. We see there's an update in the Ahmaud Arbery case coming out of Georgia. New video appears to contradict suspect's account. New video appears to contradict suspect's account. This new body camera video. CBS News reported on this on December 15th, as well as thegrio.com. We'll talk about that. A new video has surfaced in the killing of the 25-year-old African-American man gunned down in February. The new video casts doubts on one suspect's version of what happened. Okay, so we'll discuss that. And then we see once again in Georgia, we see that a record number of people turned out for the first day of early voting in the two U.S. Senate races there in Georgia, the runoff Senate races. We see 40,000 more people showed up on the first day of the Georgia Senate race runoff. 40,000 more people showed up to vote than showed up for the first day of early voting in the November 3rd, 2020 election. Okay, so we'll talk about, we'll give you an update on what's going on there. Georgia shows off for big first day of early voting in Senate runoff races. And these Senate runoff races are critical to determining which party controls the U.S. Senate, whether it's going to be Republicans who control the U.S. Senate and Mitch McConnell be in control of the U.S. Senate, or whether it's going to be Democrats and Senator Chuck Schumer. Okay, so to be able to push through a lot of the bills that Joe Biden wants to get done and many African Americans want to get done, and a lot of our groups and organizations pushed for, it comes down to these two Senate races. So we'll give you an update on what's going on there. And then December 13th was the birth date of one Ella Josephine Baker. Ella Josephine Baker, better known as Ella Baker, who was a very prominent, important civil rights leader, co-founder of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference with Dr. King in 1957. Also a co-founder of SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. So we'll talk some about Ella Baker. We didn't get a chance to do it on December 13th on her birthday, but I said on our show yesterday that we would do that today. Okay. So how's everybody doing? Everybody share this broadcasting on social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in also. And then, today, Senator Mitch McConnell congratulated Joe Biden as president-elect and Senator Kamala Harris is vice president-elect. And a meeting is planned between Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell did this on the Senate floor today. This was after the Electoral College voted on Monday, December 14th, as we said they would. The Electoral College votes on the first Monday following the second Wednesday in December, fell on December 14th. And as predicted, they voted along based upon the results of the states. There were no faithless electors that I heard of, at least none of any consequence. Joe Biden got 306 Electoral College votes. Okay. He's going to be sworn in January 20th, 2021, 12 noon. Donald Trump's going to get on a little plane and go off, and next day there'll probably be indictments and lawsuits and all different types of things like that. So we'll talk a little bit about Senator Mitch McConnell as well. And then on our show, let's see, Monday. So Monday, December 14th, was the birth date of Hal Williams, We talked about it here on the show. Hal Williams is an African-American actor, and he's known for playing Smity, Officer Smity, on Sanford and Son, Smity and Hoppy on Sanford and Son. And he's also known as portraying Lester Jenkins on the TV show 227. So he was born December 14th, 1934. He turned 86 years old on Monday, December 14th. So we talked about that on Monday's show. And I have an excerpt of Sanford and Son. Okay. Some excerpts of Smity and Hoppy on Sanford and Son. Okay. Because yesterday I said, those are the type of police officers we want. We want officers like Officer Smity and Officer Hoppy. Okay. Those are the type of officers we want. Nobody was talking about defunding Smity and Hoppy. All right. So we'll have a little fun with that segment. And then I didn't get a chance to get to the segment dealing with grown man versus a grown male. Grown man versus a grown male. I said we would do that also. DeAndre Whitfield, who we first saw as Robert on the Cosby Show, Vanessa's boyfriend Robert on the Cosby Show. He was on Sister Circle Live, and they did a segment. He wrote a book, and he was talking about relationships, and he's talking about the difference between a grown man and a grown male. Okay. So I said we would talk about that here on the show also. So we'll do that as well. All right. Now, on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man's thoughts, you can control the circumference of his actions or her actions, because your mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We deal with current events in history and politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word KEMET, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word KEMET, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Sign up for our email newsletter there as well. If you'd like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN show through Cash App, $ the AHN show through Cash App. Also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show, paypal.me/the AHN show. And then also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can sign up for the, you can donate there as well. Click on the yellow donate button. You could donate there also. Okay. And being that we're here 6 days a week instead of 1 day a week, that definitely helps us to keep broadcasting and stay on the air, keep doing the research, etc. So as of October 12th, we're here Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time. And then we're still here on Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time also. Okay. All right. Okay, so I want to go to this first story here. Everybody share this broadcast on your social media platforms. We're broadcasting on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, on Facebook and on YouTube. Michael M. Hotep, IMHOTEP, on YouTube. Okay, so I saw the story. We posted this on our fan page, The African History Network, dealing with an update in the Ahmaud Arbery case. Okay, and I'm going to go to that clip here in just a minute here, Shakita. The call-in number is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a quick question or comment. CBS News has an article here. New video appears to contradict suspect's account in Ahmaud Arbery killing. New video appears to contradict suspect's account in Ahmaud Arbery killing. This is from Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. A new video has surfaced in the killing of the 25-year-old African-American man, Ahmaud Arbery, who was gunned down in February 2020, while his family says he was jogging. The new video casts doubt on one suspect's version of what happened. Now, the police body cam video was taken just moments after Ahmaud Arbery was killed. It shows the crime scene and investigators near the young man's body. The video obtained by CBS Jacksonville affiliate WJAX shows officers talking to William Roddy Bryan, Bryan, William Roddy Bryan, at the crime scene. Let's go to this clip here, Shakita.
Tonight, new video has surfaced in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. He is the 25-year-old black man who was gunned down in February while his family says he was out jogging. The new video casts doubt on one suspect's version of what exactly happened. Here's CBS's Omar Villafranca.
This police body cam video, taken just moments after Ahmaud Arbery was killed, shows investigators standing near the young man's body. In the video, obtained by our Jacksonville station WJAX, officers are seen talking to William Roddy Bryan at the crime scene.
Was you a passerby coming through? Not necessarily.
Bryan recorded the deadly February 23rd confrontation on his cell phone. His video shows Arbery running through a Brunswick, Georgia neighborhood with Greg and Travis McMichael chasing him in their truck. It ends with Arbery shot and killed by Travis McMichael. The video was leaked in May, months after the killing, and immediately sparked national outrage. The McMichaels were arrested and charged with murder, and Arbery's family also wanted Bryan behind bars.
I had nothing to do with it.
Before his arrest, Bryan maintained his innocence, saying he had nothing to do with the confrontation and killing of Arbery. But the new body cam video reveals a different story.
I pulled out of my driveway. I was going to try to block him. He was going all around it, and I made a few moves at him, and he didn't stop.
Bryan was eventually arrested and charged with murder. All three men have pleaded not guilty and were denied bail. I just spoke with Bryan's attorney, Kevin Goff, who still maintains that his client was nothing more than a witness to the shooting. In a statement, Ahmaud Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, said she wants all the suspects held fully accountable by the law. No trial date has been set. Nora?
Omar Villafranca, thank you.
Okay, so that's from CBS News. Do me a favor, Shakita, re-rack that. We're going to play that again. William Roddy Bryan said, quote, I pulled out of my driveway, was gonna try to block him. He was going all around it. I made a few moves at him, and he didn't stop. But his attorney says he was just a bystander. He was just a passerby. That's what his attorney said. That's not what he said. That's not what he said. William Roddy Bryan recorded the deadly confrontation on his cell phone on February 23rd, 2020. His video shows Arbery running through a Brunswick, Georgia neighborhood with Greg and Travis McMichael chasing him in their truck. The video ends with Arbery shot and killed by Travis McMichael. The video was leaked in May 2020, months after the killing, and immediately sparked national outrage. We've all saw that horrific video. Now, New York Times compiled surveillance video from the area to show you a extended version of what happened, and it's time stamped. This is New York Times. I've seen that also. Before he was also arrested and charged with murder, William Roddy Bryan maintained his innocence, saying he was not part of the confrontation and the killing of Arbery. But the new body cam footage shows that's not what Bryan initially told police. On the scene, they're talking to police. That's not what you said. The police officer asked him, "You're a passerby or coming through?" The officer asked William Roddy Bryan. Bryan said, "Not necessarily." Bryan told the officer, "I pulled out of my driveway, was going to try to block him." Why are you trying to block him? What authority do you have to block him? What that don't sound like a passerby. I pulled out of my driveway, was gonna try to block him. He was going all around it. I made a few moves at him, No, I don't know. Explain to me what the hell you were doing. Let's go to that clip again, Shakita. Sorry, Shakita. We up against the break. How much time before the break, Shakita? Just go ahead and tell me. I got 20 after the hour. We up against the break right now. Let's just do this. Let's go to break. We'll play this on the other side of the break. Listen to the African History Network show right here on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, the future of radio. Michael M. Hotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Call in numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call in number. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, stand by, everybody. Everybody share this broadcast on your social media platform. Invite your friends to tune in, okay? If you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, and through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. We'll be back in a few minutes. I got to get ready for this next segment also. Stand by. How's everybody doing? Stand by, everybody.
Even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom.
All right, stand by.
Family, we know senior living.
We'll be back from break in 1 minute, I guess.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as the free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-436-2907. That's 1-800-436-2907.
40 million. That's the number of free phones still available and the number of how many Americans can still.
All right. 313-778-7600 is a call in up here for question or comment. We have Twalabu, Robert, Alice, Matt, Esma, just a few of the people watching this. Stand by. Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, the future radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael M. Hotep. It is Tuesday. December 15th, 2020, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing well. We're broadcasting on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and also on our YouTube channel, Michael M. Hotep, IMHOTEP. Everybody share this broadcast on your social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in also, okay? I want to, we're going to go back to this clip here. This is from CBS News, and this is dealing with a new update in the Ahmaud Arbery case, okay? We talked about it right before the break. New body cam footage has surfaced. CBS News has a good article dealing with this. New video appears to contradict suspect's account in Ahmaud Arbery killing. So initially, William Roddy Bryan, who was the third suspect in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, on the scene of the crime, shortly after Ahmaud Arbery was killed, he was asked by a police officer, "You're a passerby or coming through?" And and William Roddy Bryant responded, "Not necessarily." He told the officer on the scene, I pulled out of my driveway, was going to try to block him. He was going all around it. I made a few moves at him, and he didn't stop. But afterwards, he maintained, he said he was just a passerby. And that's what his attorney said. That's not what you told the police. That's not what you told the police. Okay. Let's go back to this clip.
Tonight, new video has surfaced in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. He is the 25-year-old black man who was gunned down in February while his family says he was out jogging. The new video casts doubt on one suspect's version of what exactly happened. Here's CBS's Omar Villafranca.
This police body cam video taken just moments after Ahmaud Arbery was killed shows investigators standing near the young man's body. In the video, obtained by our Jacksonville station WJAX, officers are seen talking to William Roddy Bryan at the crime scene.
Was you a passerby coming through? Nah, not necessarily.
Bryan recorded the deadly February 23rd confrontation on his cell phone. His video shows Arbery running through a Brunswick, Georgia neighborhood with Greg and Travis McMichael chasing him in their truck. It ends with Arbery shot and killed by Travis McMichael. The video was leaked in May, months after the killing, and immediately sparked national outrage. The McMichaels were arrested and charged with murder, and Arbery's family also wanted Bryan behind bars.
I had nothing to do with it.
Before his arrest, Bryan maintained his innocence, saying he had nothing to do with the confrontation and killing of Arbery. But the new body cam video reveals a different story.
I pulled out of my driveway, was going to try to block him. But he was going all around it, and I made a few moves at him, and he didn't stop.
Bryan was eventually arrested and charged with murder. All three men have pleaded not guilty and were denied bail.
I just spoke with Bryan's attorney, Kevin Goff, who still maintains that his client was nothing more than a witness to the shooting. In a statement, Ahmaud Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, says she wants all the suspects held fully accountable by the law. No trial date has been set. Nora?
Omar Villafranca, thank you.
Okay, so afterwards, after this whole thing blew up, we remember he did an interview with the news media, William Roddy Bryan. He's sitting there on the couch with I think his wife is next to him, and he said he had nothing to do with it. That's not what you told the police at the scene of the crime. And it's captured on body cam video. That's not what you told the police at the scene of the crime. His attorney is saying he's just a passerby. That's not what you told police. So either you were lying then or you lying now. Which one is it? So we'll stay on top of this. Check out this article here from CBSnews.com. New video appears to contradict suspect's account in Ahmaud Arbery killing. Then thegrio.com also has an article dealing with this. Body cam video shows William Roddy Bryan telling police he repeatedly tried to block Ahmaud Arbery. That don't sound like just a passerby. Sounds like you were involved in a lynching. Sounds like you involved in a murder. That's what it sounds like to me. Sounds like you involved in a murder. It don't sound like you was just passing by. Okay. Next story. So we'll stay in Georgia for this one because I've got Georgia on my mind. Georgia shows up big for first day of early voting in Senate runoff races. Vice.com has an article. We posted this article from Vice.com, got 1,200 likes. And then Politico also has an article. Politico has a very interesting article here. Trump antagonizes Republicans with Georgia fundraising ploy. All Trump is fleecing these people who still haven't figured out wrestling is not real. He's still getting them to donate. Okay, he's still getting them to donate money. He's already raised over $250 million. All right, since November 3rd. He's still getting them to donate money. So if we look at this article from Vice.com, Georgia's Senate runoff next month, January 5th, 2021, is the most pivotal non-presidential election in recent memory, with 2 seats up for grabs that will either give Democrats the critical majority they need to govern or provide Republicans with a bulwark against the Biden administration. So all these people out here lying to you, telling you don't matter who you voting for, all that stuff, don't vote, all this stuff. We just going to do economic empowerment and invest in the stock market and build businesses and things like that. That's important. But we've lost 41% of African-American owned businesses since April of this year. That's as of April because of the coronavirus economy and Donald Trump mishandling the economy and mishandling the coronavirus. One, pandemic. Two, mishandling the economy. Now is at least 50% of African-American owned businesses we lost. In the past few months, there have been 8 million people who have slipped into poverty. On the other side of this election, and day after day, there's more information coming about it. On the other side of the coronavirus, going into January of 2021, there's going to be a massive number of evictions and foreclosures taking place all across the country. There's going to be a massive number of evictions and foreclosures taking place, which is then probably going to increase the homeless epidemic in this country. So, looking at the numbers, when you go research this, see, a lot of people say, oh, we're just going to do economic empowerment, do like the Asians do. It's Asians closing businesses. Ask yourself this question. If white people are shutting down businesses and can't pay the lease for their business and are worried about going bankrupt, what the hell you think African-American businesses are doing? So as I said in 2016, yeah, I'm all for economic empowerment. My degree's in business administration. Okay, I understand this better than most people and have been involved in this, managed African-American owned companies where we had contracts with the city of Detroit, County of Wayne, state of Michigan. We employed black people who paid mortgages, paid rent, put food on the table. I understand this. But I also understand politics is the legal distribution that scarce wealth, power, and resources, and the writing of laws, statutes, ordinances, amendments, and treaties, the adoption, interpretation, and enforcement. I've also been involved in writing public policy for the city of Detroit. I also understand that politics and regulations shape the economy that your black-owned business operates within. So what we should have been saying is we need to elect a president whose policies are going to protect the economy that our black-owned business depends upon, so we can stay in business. We need to elect a president whose policies are going to expand the economy and keep people employed, as opposed to contracting the economy and people losing their jobs. We need to elect a Senate and a House of Representatives that are going to pass policies that are beneficial to the economy and beneficial to African-American owned businesses and small businesses. That's what we should have been saying. But, anyway. So some people realize that now. Some people realize, oh no, we need to do both. It ain't an either or. And if the first day of in-person voting is an indicator, Georgia voters are well aware that they will decide who controls the direction of the U.S. government for the next 2 years. More than 168,000 Georgians voted on Monday, December 14th, 2020, the first day anyone could cast an in-person ballot, according to the New York Times. By comparison, 126,000 people voted during the first day of early voting in the November election, more than a 30% increase. It was 40,000 more people that voted on the first day of early voting for these two Georgia Senate races that voted for the first day of early voting for the November 3rd presidential election. Because people realizing, oh, hell no. They said we can't have Republicans in control of the Senate. You got to get these bills passed through the House of Representatives and the Senate and get them signed into law. The George Floyd Police and Justice Act. You got to get coronavirus bills passed for relief. The real $3.4 trillion HEROES Act needs to be passed. Okay. You need stimulus checks. You need paycheck protection for small businesses. You need moratoriums on evictions, national moratoriums on evictions, all of that stuff. You're going to need a $1 trillion infrastructure bill. Because when President Obama tried to get the $1 trillion infrastructure bill passed, that was blocked in the House of Representatives. Nobody talks about that. That was blocked in the House of Representatives. When he tried to get the American Jobs Act passed, that was blocked in the House of Representatives. Nobody talks about that. Georgia voters have also requested more than 1.2 million mail-in ballots so far, with more than 260,000 ballots already counted and accepted, according to data collected by the U.S. Elections Project. That means that combined with in-person voting, more than 400,000 people have already cast their ballots with more than 2 weeks remaining until the January 5th election day. Now, Joe Biden was in Georgia today campaigning for Reverend Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, okay, to win those 2 Senate seats in Georgia. Quote, I should have expected long lines. This race is a big deal. I should have expected long lines. This race is a big deal. The world is watching us, end quote. James Crawford, 54 years old, told Reuters. Quote, this will affect whether President-elect Joe Biden can get anything done, his ability to run the government. Not just that, this affects the type of legislation that we can get passed that's beneficial to African Americans. To get a fulfillment of campaign promises. It comes down to Georgia. Georgia is on my mind and everybody else's mind too. They got a mind. Some people dealing with this simple Simon ass nonsense. The stakes of the Senate runoff elections could not be higher. GOP Senator David Perdue will face off once more against Democrat John Ossoff after David Perdue narrowly topped Ossoff in November, but failed to secure 50% of the vote necessary to claim victory in the state. And in the second race, Democrat challenger Raphael Warnock will take on Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler to fulfill the unexpired term of former Senator Johnny Isakson, who retired at the end of 2019 due to health issues. In a crowded race last month that included 20 candidates for the Senate seat, Reverend Raphael Warnock got the most votes, but won less than a third of the ballots cast. Senator Kelly Loeffler, who was appointed to Isakson's seat this past January, came in second. Both Senate races are considered a toss-up. Long considered a Republican stronghold, Georgia has become younger and more diverse in recent years, particularly in its suburbs. The state narrowly went for Democrat Joe Biden this year. Joe Biden won by a little more than 12,000 votes. He has Stacey Abrams to thank for that. Largely Stacey Abrams. It wasn't just Stacey Abrams by herself, but it was because, Black Voters Matter and Latasha Brown, Black Voters Matter. So it was a collective effort, but Stacey Abrams led that initiative. But when the 2018 governor's race was stolen from her by Brian, I stole the governorship from a Black woman named Stacey Abrams Kemp. Okay, she once again got to work. So they have Stacey Abrams to thank for this. Read the rest of this article here from Vice.com. Georgia is showing up big for the Senate runoff vote. Now, Politico had a piece. This is from Tuesday, December 15, 2020. Politico had a piece from Monday, December 14th, dealing with the Georgia race also. Politico.com. Trump antagonizes Republicans with Georgia fundraising ploy. Trump antagonizes Republicans with Georgia fundraiser ploy. And one of the things they're talking about is how Trump is just in this for himself, raising money. Trump don't care about these 2 Senate seats. Okay. Trump's appears to be devoted to helping the party. Trump's aggressive fundraising blitz appears to be devoted to helping the party defend Georgia's 2 Senate seats with them, the Senate majority, but the fine print shows that most of the proceeds are going toward Trump's newly launched PAC, which he plans to use to fund his future political activities. Only a fraction is going to the Republican National Committee, which is investing $20 million into these runoff races. So once again, Trump's just in this for himself. He's trying to pay off campaign debt, and he's trying to raise his money for himself. A stampede of political figures from both parties are emailing their donors with links to donate directly to the Georgia candidates, but the president is not among them. Trump's fundraising ploy has rankled senior Republicans who worry small dollar donations are being redirected away from the runoffs, away from these two Senate runoff races. The National Republican Senatorial Committee has reached out to the White House and the RNC, Republican National Committee, to express its concern and to question the decision, according to two people familiar with the discussions. They say, hey, look here, man, you up here raising this money, but they ain't going to these Senate races. What are you doing with the money? Who you trying to help? The predicament has intensified broader concerns within the GOP that Trump will use the post-presidency to advance his own interests at the expense of the party. Trump has spent the last few weeks battering a pair of Republican governors who have not backed up his claims, his false claims, that the presidency is being stolen from him. No, you just lost. Potentially imperiling their 2022 re-election prospects. He has repeatedly said Georgia's election system is rife with fraud, which could have the unintended consequence of chilling GOP turnout in the runoff races. Once again, depressing the turnout of people voting for Republicans. And he has talked up a potential 2024 comeback bid, freezing the field of would-be future Republican presidential hopefuls. Okay, he's not going to run in 2024. He's going to have so many lawsuits, and he's going to be working so hard to stay out of prison. He's not going to run in 2024. And as soon as he announces he's going to run, everybody's going to say, "Where your taxes? You got to show us your taxes. You ain't going to be no. You can't run again and not show us your taxes. You ran that for 5 years before." And if he runs 2024, he's still going to say, "I'm under audit." And people gonna say, wait a second, you said you were under audit in 2015. You've been under audit for 9 years. What the hell are you doing? What kind of criminal enterprise are you running? You've been under audit for 9 years. You can't show us anything. So he's talking now. He's not gonna run again. Okay. 313-778-7600 is the calling number. If you have a question or comment, 313-778-7600 is the calling number. If you have a question or comment, I'm going to show this here on the screen share for those watching on Facebook and YouTube. We have any callers? Shakita, let me know. 313-778-7600 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. Let's look at this here. So it says President Donald Trump couldn't make it any clearer. He needs his supporters to fork over cash for the all-important Georgia Senate runoff elections. Quote, "We must defend Georgia from the Dems," he wrote in one recent text message. "I need you to secure a win in Georgia," he said in another text message. "Help us win both Senate races in Georgia and stop socialist Dems," he pleaded a few days later. Okay. Now, there's just one hitch. Trump's new political machine is pocketing most of the dough, and the campaigns of the Georgia senators competing in the January 5th, 2021 races aren't getting a cent. Trump's aggressive fundraising blitz appears to be devoted to helping the party defend Georgia's 2 Senate seats, and with them, the Senate majority, but the fine print shows that most of the proceeds are going toward Trump's newly launched PAC, which he plans to use to fund his future political activities. Only a fraction is going to the Republican National Committee, which is investing $20 million in the runoff. Now, when you scroll down here in the article, it says, when donors click on Trump's emails and texts, they are directed to a site that urges donations of anything from $5,000 to $2,800. Okay. Now we talked about the dummy that donated $2.5 million to a Trump super PAC. He wants his money back. Okay. He's asking for a refund. He realized wrestling is not real. When donors click, we'll go to the phone line in just a minute. We'll come to you in just a second, Carl. When donors click on Trump's emails and text, they are directed to a site that urges donations of anything from $5 to $2,800. Lower down on the page, it notes that 75% of each donation goes to Trump's political action committee, Save America, up to the first $5,000 given. So up to the first $5,000 given, 75% of what you gave goes to the super PAC, Save America, Trump super PAC. This is saying pimping ain't easy. Yes, it is. When you got dumbasses like this, it is easy. 25% then goes to the RNC, Republican National Committee, which paid for Trump's recent visit to the state. Donors who give even more money can have their cash directed into a Trump legal fund or other accounts benefiting the RNC, but regardless of the amount given, none goes directly to the Georgia Senate candidates. So what he's tweeting, look at this. This is the con he's running. This is the con he's running. Okay, he's tweeting, we've got to win the Georgia. Let me scroll back up. This is what he's tweeting. He's tweeting, we must defend Georgia from the Dems. I need you to secure a win in Georgia. Help us win, but both Senate races. Help us win both Senate races in Georgia and stop socialist Dems. That's what he's tweeting. But when you donate based upon the tweet, that ain't where the money's going. Oh my God. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Carl, line 1. Carl, welcome to the African History Network show. Tell us where you're calling from, Carl. Do we have Carl on the line?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, Carl, welcome to the African History Network show. You're on the air. Tell us where you're calling from.
Thank you for sharing all this knowledge. Yes, I'm glad Donald Trump is doing what he's doing. I hope he's speaking to the Republican Party like he's been doing. They know what's going on.
Yep.
I'm glad you're going to hit them with that money.
Mm-hmm.
If you hit them with that money, they're going to run away from them.
Yep. This is the chickens coming home to roost on them, man. They should have stopped Trump back in 2015. This is the chickens coming home to roost on them. You brought this on yourself.
Yeah. I want him to keep it up. That's the only thing I like about him. And here's the thing also about the what's going on. You know, these attorney generals that back Donald Trump with all this voter fraud crap.
Right.
Man, ain't that something?
Yep.
Isn't that something, man?
There was 17 of them. At least 17. It was Paxton out of Texas and then 17 other ones, Republicans. Yep.
And that brother that's down there in Kentucky with the Breonna case, he stood on the sideline, but he wanted to join too. It's going to be too much noise if he would have joined.
Yep.
But that's okay though. You know, and who is these broke Republicans that's voting for Mitch McConnell down there in Georgia, voting for these Republican senators that is on that's on unemployment? Why would I be a Republican voter, my man?
Exactly, man. See, they voted. A lot of them voted for white supremacy. A lot of them.
You hear what I'm saying, man?
Yeah, a lot of them voted for white supremacy and racism.
Source of income. I need my stimulus check to feed me, my kids, my rent, and my job is gone. Why would I vote for the Republican Party this time? No one that said they're not Republican people that vote ain't that stupid.
Yep.
They choose to be, man.
Yep.
This is real life.
Okay. All right, Carl. Thanks for calling.
Man.
Yep. Keep listening, man. We got to get these other calls. Yeah. So a lot of them are voting. If you go back to the article that I shared from 2017 from The Atlantic, it talked about how it was cultural anxiety that caused many people to vote for Donald Trump in 2016 who did not have college degrees. It was cultural anxiety. It was the fear of the browning of America. It was the fear of America becoming less and less white and populated more with non-white people, African Americans, Hispanics, etc. Okay. There was a big article from theatlantic.com that dealt with this. And see, I've done an entire lecture called After the 2016 Campaign. I did it in early 2017. It was like May 2017 was the first time I've done it. The first time I did it. It's called African American Resistance in the Era of Donald Trump. Voter suppression, reparations, and how elections have consequences. Okay. And it dealt with one of the things that presentation dealt with, and we need to re-air that also. One of the things that lecture that I did dealt with is what happened in the 2016 campaign. what happened in the 2016 election. I dealt with the rampant voter suppression, things like that. But I dealt with the cultural anxiety and how Donald Trump tapped into the white fear and the cultural anxiety that a lot of white people had. Okay, and he's playing them. Okay, Donald Trump never cared about poor white people, working class white people, anything. Only people he cares about is himself and his billionaire donors. Sheldon Adelson and his family, Robert Mercer and his family. Robert Mercer was a donor to the Trump campaign before Sheldon Adelson. Robert Mercer. So you got to connect the dots, right? Robert Mercer was the main financier of Breitbart News. Okay, Robert Mercer is a white supremacist, anti-civil rights. I think it was the New Yorker magazine has a huge article on Robert Mercer. Robert Mercer was a financier of the Trump campaign early on in 2015, but he was the main financier of Breitbart News. Okay, when you look at Steve Bannon, and we'll go to Deborah in just a second here. When you look at Steve Bannon was running Breitbart before he went over to run the Trump campaign. Okay. Now Steve Bannon was executive producer of a conspiracy theory filled documentary called Clinton Cash. In 2016, they were selling the documentary from Breitbart News' website. Stephen Bannon was executive producer of that. Okay. Clinton Cash, the documentary, was based upon a conspiracy theory filled book called Clinton Cash, written by Peter Schweitzer. I think was his name, Peter Schweitzer. Peter Schweitzer was a senior editor at large for Breitbart News. Kellyanne, all these people are connected. Kellyanne Conway, little lying ass Kellyanne Conway was running Robert Mercer's family super PAC before she went to the Trump campaign. David Bossie, another one, running the Mercer family super PAC before he went to the Trump campaign. When you start connecting the dots of all these people, they're connected and they go back to Robert Mercer. But most people don't even know who Robert Mercer is. Mercer was financing Breitbart. All this stuff is connected. Okay. Speaking of connected, let's connect to Deborah. Deborah, line 2. Welcome to the African History Network show. Tell us where you're calling from, Deborah.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing very well, and you?
I'm all right. Go ahead. We only got about a minute left. 1 or 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm talking about the ballots. We're going back and find all the ballots from every poll place and take them and put them in different processes, just put them on different places so you can count them. You'll find that there are more ballots that were voted were counted that should not have been counted. And if we get back,
what are you talking about? All the ballots have been counted and they've all been certified by all 50 states. What are you talking about?
Indeed, so therefore, you'll find out that there has been. You find out exactly where the fraud is.
What are you talking about?
There were so many ballots. They even ran them through the computer several times.
No, that's not true. That's not true, Deborah. You're getting the wrong information. And when they took these cases to court, that's not what they were alleging in court because they didn't have any evidence to prove that. Thanks for calling, Deborah. All right, get your facts straight before you call in here. When you go research these court cases, 55 plus court cases, they're not alleging fraud in court because you need evidence to allege fraud in court. Otherwise, as an attorney, you could be sanctioned, you could be disbarred. There's going to be a problem. And when you go study these actual cases, see, you can say whatever you want to in a press conference. Okay, that's nonsense. You can say whatever you want to in a press conference. When you go into court, you got to have evidence. That's why judges who were appointed and nominated by Republican presidents, Democratic presidents, that's why they're throwing these cases out of court because there is no merit. They're going to court with no evidence. And in the overwhelming majority of these cases, they're not even alleging fraud. That's what they tell the suckers and the losers to keep getting them to donate money. That's what Trump is saying. Trump is running game on them. He's tweeting, we gotta win Georgia. But the money that he's raising ain't going to the Senate races in Georgia. Get out of here with that. All right. How much time we got? We got 2 minutes. Let's go to this clip here. Let's go to this clip here from Sanford and Son. So, December 14th was the 86th birthday of Hal Williams, also known as Officer Smity, on Sanford and Son. Here's some of Smity and Hoppy's greatest hits. Let's go to this clip, Shakita. You got the clip I sent you? Shakita, did you it was another email I sent you. Okay, maybe she did. Maybe she doesn't have it. You there? Okay.
Four. That too many? No, that's it. Are they colored? Yeah, white. What you cooking? They don't know. Is it done yet? No, it ain't done yet. What's he cooking? Soul food. Hey, Fred, I don't know any soul food that smells like that. Well, see, this soul food comes from a special recipe. Oh, yeah. Hey, Lamont, how's Brother Smity and the new president? Oh, yeah. They came by for some coffee. Yeah. We don't have no coffee, do we? No, we all out of coffee. I took the prop this morning. We had to get some coffee. Sure did. Yeah, tea too. Yeah, sorry, man. Yeah. No coffee. No coffee. It's all right. We'll stop by later when you have some coffee. Let's go, Smitty. Yeah, okay. Say, Fred, what happened to your window? Kids? Kids. Oh, yeah. You think if a youngster broke your window, he'd be honest enough to come over and confess he did it? Yeah, you think so? I know that soul food smells like hammer hocks and black-eyed rice. Ham hocks and black-eyed peas. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. We'll see you later. Hey, where's Billy? Go on, Sam. Hey, where you been so long? Fighting crime in the streets, Mr. Sanford. We are going to get it to the point where people can walk anywhere in Los Angeles. Yeah, but they'd still be running in what? Is that the little man Lamont? Yeah, this is Jason. Hey, Jason, come over here, man. You're not scared, are you? No, don't be scared, Sonny. Man in blue is a friend to you. Man in blue, get your foot off there. Oh.
Okay, pause it right there, Shakita. We got to get out of here. Pause it right there.
Is the establishment of an atmosphere of mutual trust between the official and the minor in question.
All right. Pause the clip right there, Shakita. We got to get out. We have to get out of here. Okay. We're going to continue this discussion on our social media platforms, our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network on Facebook, and Michael M. Hotep on YouTube. We'll continue there. We're out of time here. Remember, right now, it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Peace. Okay, stand by, everybody. Let me disconnect from the radio station. All right, let's continue. We'll play the rest of that clip, and then we'll go to. We'll also do the segment. I'll also play the clip dealing with grown man versus grown male. We'll play that also. Let me cue this up here from. This was on YouTube. I found this. This was from Sanford and Son, and let's see here. So I posted on, and we're going to talk about Ella Baker also. Okay, I posted on Facebook and our Instagram page, Michael M. Hotep on Instagram. I posted about Hal Williams. Okay, his birthday was December 14th, and let me find this clip here. So he turned 86 years old. He's born December 14th, 1934. Hal Williams. He's best known for his recurring roles as police officer Smity on Sanford and Son, 1972, 1976, and then also as the patriarch Lester Jenkins on the TV show 227, opposite of Marla Gibbs, okay, on 227. He was the husband, and that originally aired from 1985 to 1990, and also for his role as Sergeant L.C. Ross in Private Benjamin in 1980, the movie Private Benjamin with Goldie Hawn. All right, let's go back to this clip. We'll go back to the beginning of this clip here. So, so this is the episode where Fred fakes the robbery. This is the episode where Fred fakes the robbery. Okay, he destroyed Lamont's porcelain collection and lied and said it was a robbery. So now he's giving a fake police report to the officers. So this is Officer Smith and his other partner Swanee, the other white guy Swanee. Okay, let's go to this clip.
SANFORD, period. And you were in the house and you were attacked and robbed. How many men were there? How many I say? Four. Four? That too many? But no, that's it. Were they colored? Yeah, white. They want to know what you cooking. What? They want to know, is it done yet? No, stop. No, it ain't done yet. What's he cooking? Soul food. Hey, say, Fred, I don't know any soul food that smells like that. Well, see, this soul food comes from a special recipe. Oh. Yeah. Hey, Lamont, his brother Smity and his new partner. Oh, yeah. They came by for some coffee. Yeah. We don't have no coffee, do we? No, we all out of coffee. I said to Pop this morning we had to get some coffee. Sure did. Yeah, teacher.
Okay, so I think this was the first episode with Officer Hoppy. Okay, Hopkins, Officer Hoppy.
Yeah, sorry, man. Yeah. No coffee. No coffee. It's all right. We'll stop by later when you have some coffee. Let's go, Smitty. Yeah, okay. Say, Fred, what happened to your window? Kids? Kids. Well, yeah. You think if a youngster broke your window, he'd be honest enough to come over and confess he did it. Yeah, you think so? You know that soul food smells like hammer hocks and black-eyed rice.
That's ham hocks and black-eyed peas.
Oh, right.
Yeah, okay. Look, we'll see you later.
Hey, wait, Smitty. What's happening? What's going on, Fred? How you doing, fella? Hey, where you been so long?
Fighting crime in the streets, Mr. Sanford. We are going to get it to the point where people can walk anywhere in Los Angeles.
Yeah, but they still be running in watts.
Is that the little man, Lamont?
Yeah, this is Jason. Hey, Jason, come over here, man. You're not scared, are you?
No, don't be scared, Sonny. Man in blue is a friend to you.
Yeah, well, you know, man in blue, get your foot off there.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, let me pause it right here for a quick second. So this is the episode, The Kid. This is the episode called The Kid. I have all 122 episodes of Sanford and Son on DVD. So I know all the episodes. This episode is called The Kid. It's a 10-year-old kid who Lamont met on his junk route, and he ends up at Sanford and Son, ends up at their house, and he's playing around, and he doesn't want to go home. Okay, everybody share this broadcasting and social media platforms. We'll go back to this clip here, then we'll talk about Ella Baker as well. We'll give you an update on what's going on with coronavirus also, and we'll do with that last segment, grown man versus grown male. Tammy, how you doing, Tammy? Who else we have? Lori, Sherwin, Alice, and 227. That was a great show. There's no place like home. Marla Gibbs. If you look at Marla Gibbs back in the day, Marla Gibbs was fine back in the day. Marla Gibbs used to work in Detroit. There was a hotel here in Detroit she used to work at back like in the 60s, something like that, 50s or 60s. Okay. So Marla, back in the day, Marla Gibbs was fine. If you like this type of information, also you could donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, or at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. African American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Email us at customerservice@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, customerservice@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Okay, let's go back to this clip here.
Now, don't be scared, Sonny. The man in blue is a friend to you.
Yeah, but,
you know,
man in blue gets your foot off there.
Oh, sorry. You know, in the lawman-juvenile relationship, the primary consideration is the establishment of an atmosphere of mutual trust between the official and the minor in question.
Be cool, little brother. The fuzz is your cuz.
Wait till Lamont see the back of that truck. He's gonna blow his top.
Oh, Fred, forget about the truck.
I can't.
Forget about Lamont.
I'd like to.
Listen to me, Fred. You don't know this, but man, you are sitting on top of a gold mine.
I'm what?
Look, didn't you say that you were just stopped there in your truck minding your own business and another car rammed into you from behind?
Yeah.
Cadillac?
Yeah.
White man? Fred, you gold mine.
What are you talking about, Bob?
Look, you ever hear of whiplash? We're talking about whiplash. Whiplash is what you get when you get hit from behind. The insurance companies pay real big for that.
They do, huh?
I'm telling you, Fred, you're in the clear. See, it's always the guy that hits you in the back that's to blame. He has to pay every time.
Every time?
Every time.
Well, I was hit from the back.
Yes, you were.
By a Cadillac.
Right.
Driven by a white man.
Yeah.
Bubba, you know, I am sitting on top of a gold mine.
Well, it's not that much damage. It's not as much damage as I thought. It could have been a lot worse. You know that. What's the matter with you?
My neck's feeling funny.
Your neck?
Yeah, I can't move it, see?
All I know is that a few minutes ago, your neck was fine.
Well, it ain't fine now. I'm sick and my neck hurts. Tell him, Bubba.
That's right. As soon as y'all went out, he told me his neck felt funny.
Is it a stiff, painful feeling?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. A stiff, painful feeling. And I can't even turn it, see?
Now, that's very common when you're hit from behind, Mr. Sanford. You've probably got a whiplash.
Whiplash? That's what I got is whiplash. You there, Lamont? Where are you, Lamont? Where are you, son?
You want to know where I am?
Where?
Standing right behind you.
Well, that's what I got, Bubba, whiplash.
That's right. I can see from here you got a whiplash.
Ain't it true? Ain't it true that I can sue when I get this whiplash 20?
Well, speaking off the record, I can only tell you that in cases where Vehicle 1 is struck from behind by Vehicle 2, the occupant of Vehicle 1 is in the legal optimal position to obtain monetary compensation from the occupant of Vehicle 2, that party being liable for all the damages incurred by the occupant of Vehicle 1.
So they all looking at each other.
Sitting on top of a gold mine. See, lady, there's been a big mistake. Now, I know both of these gentlemen, and neither one of them is Fred Sanford.
Okay. Does Fred Sanford live here?
Yes, ma'am. Fred Sanford lives here.
And neither one of them is Fred Sanford?
Neither one of them is Fred Sanford.
Then you're Fred Sanford.
No, lady, I'm not Fred Sanford either.
You sure?
I'm sure.
And I can attest to that, madam. This is Officer Smith. As fine a man as we have on the force.
Well, if you're not Fred Sanford, and neither one of them is Fred Sanford, that leaves you. You are Fred Sanford.
Oh, no, madam. I couldn't be Fred Sanford. She thinks I'm of the Caucasian persuasion.
What you saw? Hey, what'd you see, friend? Yeah, what'd you see?
We'll handle the interrogation, son. This is our territory. What did you see?
Okay, so this episode, Julio's house was burglarized. Fred saw who did it, but he's afraid to say who did it because he's afraid they'll come back. They pointed a gun at Fred, and he asked them, "What are y'all doing over there?" He said the same thing they say in Washington. You don't know and you don't want to know. Let's go back to this clip.
Two guys heard this noise. I heard someone out in the yard, and these two guys out there say, "What you guys doing out there?" And what I'm saying, you don't know, and you don't want to know. And if you know me, you know that's all I know. You know? What they look like, Fred? I don't know.
But you said you knew, Pop.
I know, but now I don't know.
Come on, Fred, tell us. Now, if it's a gang operating in the neighborhood, next time it could be you, you know?
I know, and if I tell them, I'm making sure that would be me. Sanford, you know it's your duty to tell.
That's right, Mr. Sanford, and you don't have anything to worry about. The law will protect you. The law is always around.
Well, where was the law when they was robbing Julio York? Do you know?
No, I don't know. But let me put it another way.
No, wait, please. Wait. Let me. Mr. Sanford, please, look. Put yourself in my position, huh? Think of how you would feel if you had a dog that loved you, one that gave you affection and comfort, and asked for nothing in return but the chance to show you that love and affection. And then one day, psst, gone. And your dog is gone. He has been stolen. But I mean, wouldn't that break your heart?
That's why I don't have no dog.
Well, let me put it another way, Mr. Sanford. You'd be doing those criminals a favor by turning them in.
A favor?
That's right. You'd give them the opportunity to be rehabilitated.
And you give me the opportunity to be decapitated.
I don't think that was wild parsley in that salad you made.
Well, what do you think was in it?
Marijuana.
Marijuana?
You crazy in the way. Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I just go on out there and ask Smity and Hoppy if they taste marijuana in the salad. No, wait a minute, Grady, you can't do that. They're the police.
Well, you don't think I'm going to take your word for it, do you?
You don't have to, Grady. Now, just about everybody knows that one of the main side effects of using marijuana is the hungries or the munchies. Now, what we got to do, see, is we got to go out there, and if Smity and Hoppy are still hungry, then that means it was marijuana. If they're not, it wasn't. Now, come on. All right.
Good. Cool, man. You were right. They got the munchkins all right.
The munchies, Grady. The munchies. Now, just calm down.
How can I calm down when the police in there getting high off my salad? They're going to take me to jail.
We gotta go out there and stop them. Hey, wait a minute. Now, how can they take you to jail if they're eating up all the evidence?
That's food for thought.
Right. Come on, let's go.
Hey, how you fellas feel? I mean, how's the food?
That's terrific. That's wonderful.
Oh, yeah? Well, wait a minute. Oh, goodness, you didn't even finish up this little bit right here. Oh, come on, I don't leave anything in the bowl.
Hey, don't worry about me, Grady. I'm so hungry I can eat a porcupine and his mama. I can eat anything.
And you just did.
You answered. Get rid of them fast.
All right, so we'll pause it right there. We'll post this link here. This is Sanford and Son, the best of Smity and Hoppy and Swanee from JMT Flicks on YouTube. So you can check this out. All right, there's some more, but for the sake of time, we'll move on. Okay, so happy birthday, Hal Williams. Let's do an update here on coronavirus. Then we'll go to Ella Baker. Then we'll do a grown man versus grown male. And we'll talk about grown man versus grown male also Wednesday on 9:10 a.m. Superstation when we're live on the air so people can call in as well. Okay, if you want to. So when we look at deaths in the U.S. for coronavirus, they're topping 301,000 as of Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. As the deaths from the coronavirus top 301,000 in the United States, a large-scale campaign to vaccinate Americans went on for a second day, with more frontline healthcare workers receiving the vaccine across the country. At the same time, an FDA report, Food and Drug Administration report, said Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine candidate is highly effective ahead of an FDA advisory committee vote later this week on whether the vaccine should be given emergency use authorization, as Pfizer's vaccine was last week. Final FDA authorization could come as early as Friday. Now, this comes as more than 109,000 people were hospitalized in the U.S. on Monday, December 14th. That's a record, I think. 109,000 people hospitalized across the U.S. because of COVID-19. The CDC predicts that the death toll could soar as high as 362,000 people by January 2nd, 2021. We're at 301,000 right now. We see that the FDA today also authorized the first home test for COVID-19 that does not require a prescription. Okay. The company behind the test said the test will be sold in drugstores and patients will be able to swab their noses at home, run the test, and find out the results in as little as 20 minutes. Now, at the top of the show, we talked about, and I posted an article from NBC News. Senator Mitch McConnell on the U.S. Senate floor congratulated Joe Biden as president-elect and Senator Kamala Harris as vice president-elect. And the meeting is planned. Biden said Biden said he had spoken with Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, and the two agreed to get together soon. Quote, while we disagree on a lot of things, there are things we can work together on. End quote, Biden said. He went on to say, we agreed, we get together sooner than later, end quote. Now, on the Senate floor, Mitch McConnell acknowledged for the first time that Biden had been elected and congratulated President-elect President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Biden campaigned in Georgia also today, as I said earlier. Now, so after the Electoral College voted and confirmed Biden and Kamala Harris win, you had more Republican senators and member of Congress come out and acknowledge that, yeah, they won. Okay. And you're going to see more do it also. I wanted to try to pull up the article from NBC News because we posted that earlier. Got 1,400 likes. McConnell congratulates Biden on his victory as more Republicans abandon Trump's fight. McConnell congratulates Biden on his victory as more Republicans abandon Trump's fight. After weeks of delay, the top Republican in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, acknowledged on Tuesday that Joe Biden will be the next president following an Electoral College vote that officially certified his win on Monday. So you're going to see more Republicans fall in line, especially Republican senators. You're going to see more of them fall in line behind this. And now, on a conference call with Republicans on Tuesday, McConnell and other GOP leaders warned senators against objecting on January 6, 2021, when Congress holds a joint session to have the results from each state counted, multiple sources told NBC News. Without an objection, the counting requires no action from Congress. But if a formal objection citing a specific concern is submitted in writing, which has happened twice, once in 1969 and again in the year 2005, then each chamber would vote. Now, Senator Mitch McConnell told his colleagues that it would be a, quote, terrible vote for Republicans because they would then have to oppose the objection and it would be viewed as voting against Trump. Senate Majority Whip John Thune, a Republican from South Dakota, also informally took the temperature of GOP senators prior to the call, trying to see if any of them are considering objecting to the election results. One senator said, quote, in the end, at some point, you have to face the music, Senator Thune told reporters on Monday, saying it was, quote, time for everybody to move on, end quote, after Electoral College settled the vote. Okay, so check out this article here. You can read the rest of it from NBCnews.com. McConnell congratulates Biden on his victory as more Republicans abandon Trump's fight. Okay, so we get the update from Okay, we got that. And then there was I was looking at the updates on coronavirus from Washington Post, live updates. California prepares for onslaught of COVID-19 deaths as second vaccine nears approval. But they have the story, dozens of children went to see Santa at one of the malls or something like that, went to see Santa. He may have exposed them to coronavirus. I'm not sure if people thought about this ahead of time. But 4 days after the December 10th event in the small city of Ludowici, Georgia, Ludwici, Ludowici, Georgia, a local official took to Facebook with startling news. The Clauses had both tested positive for the coronavirus, raising the possibility that around 50 children were exposed. Quote, I have personally known both Santa and Mr. Claus my entire life, and I can assure everyone that they would have never knowingly done anything to place any children in danger, end quote, said Lone County Board of Commissioners Chairman Robert D. Parker, who wrote this in a message to the community. We'll see what happens there. Okay. So check out the rest of these updates at WashingtonPost.com. Now, okay, we'll do Ella Baker. So December 13th was the birth date of one Ella Baker. Okay. Ella Josephine Baker. And she was born in 1903, passed away in 1986. She passed away on her birthday in 1986. She was born December 13th, 1903. She was a civil rights and human rights activist beginning in the 1930s, whose career spanned more than 5 decades. She was instrumental in the launch of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, in 1960. In the article, Ella Taught Me, Shattering the Myth of the Leaderless Movement, Barbara Ransby said Ella Baker represented a different leadership tradition altogether. She combined the generic concept of leadership, quote, a process of social influence in which a person can enlist the aid and support of others in the accomplishment of a common task, end quote, and a confidence in the wisdom of ordinary people to determine their problems and imagine solution. Ella Baker helped everyday people channel and congeal their collective power to resist oppression and fight for sustainable, transformative change. Now, according to this piece from the Zen Project, the Zen Education Project, zenedproject.org, ZINN. According to this piece, they say the best book to read about Ella Baker is entitled Ella Baker and the Black Freedom Movement, A Radical Democratic Vision by Barbara Ransby from UNC Press, came out 2005. Ella Baker and the Black Freedom Movement, A Radical Democratic Vision by Barbara Ransby. Now, if we look at blackpast.org has a piece on Ella Baker. And it says, through her decades of the work with the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, and later SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, Ella Baker emerged as one of the most important women in the civil rights movement. Ella Baker was born on December 13th, 1903 in Norfolk, Virginia. After grammar school, her mother enrolled her in Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina. She graduated as the valedictorian of both her high school and college graduating classes. The college valedictorian honor was all the more remarkable because she worked her way through high school. She worked her way through school as a waitress, okay, and chemistry lab assistant. as a waitress and chemistry lab assistant. Now, Ella Baker graduated from Shaw University with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in June of 1927. After graduation, Ella Baker moved to New York City, where she became a waitress and community organizer involved in radical politics. Later, in 1927, she became a journalist for the American West Indian News, By 1930, she was named office manager of the Negro National News. In 1930, Ella Baker and George Schuler, Schuyler, confounded the Young Negroes Cooperative League, co-founded the Young Negroes Cooperative League, the YNCL, the Young Negroes Cooperative League. She was the organization's first secretary treasurer and chairman of the New York Council. In 1931, Ella Baker became the Young Negroes Cooperative League's national director. George Schuler, the organization's president, then recommended her to the NAACP. In 1941, Ella Baker became an assistant field secretary of the NAACP. She took the post of advisor for the New York Youth Council of the NAACP. By the late 1940s, Ella Baker, a field secretary, was the NAACP's most effective organizer as she traveled the South chartering new branches. Okay, she set up new branches of the NAACP. In 1956, she organized In Friendship. She organized another organization called In Friendship, which was a group that raised money for the Montgomery bus boycott. This is in 1956. Years of work among young people, both inside and outside the NAACP, led Ella Baker to her assignment to coordinate a conference to provide direction for the rapidly emerging sit-in movement that began on February 1st, 1960 in Greensboro, North Carolina. February 1st, 1960 in Greensboro, North Carolina. In April of 1960, Ella Baker organized a conference at her alma mater, Shaw University, which led to the establishment of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC. Although she never joined SNCC, Ella Baker arranged and coordinated sit-ins for the new civil rights organization. Now, SNCC is actually going to come out of SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Ella Baker helped to co-found the SCLC in 1957, along with Dr. King and others. She told the youth, the college students with SNCC, to stay independent of SCLC, okay? Stay as an independent organization. Now, Ella Baker continued to organize students involved in political activism through the 1970s. In recognition of her work, she was awarded a doctorate of letters from the City College of New York in May 1985. Ella Baker died on her birthday on December 13th, 1986, at the age of 83. Okay, so check out this piece from blackpast.org, blackpast.org, P-A-S-T, on Ella Baker. And her birth name is Ella Josephine Baker. Just a second here. Ella Josephine Baker. So I looked at the King Institute. King Institute at Stanford University. The King Institute has an entry also on Ella Josephine Baker. kinginstitute.stanford.edu. And now Ella Baker and Dr. King didn't get along oftentimes. And Ella Baker is going to end up leaving the SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, because she was passed over for a permanent leadership position in the SCLC. Because now I've talked about this before. A lot of the civil rights movement was led by African-American male Protestant ministers, okay, and reverends, things like this, pastors. And many of them were chauvinists. Many of them were sexist, okay? And Dr. King was one of them. Now, this is not an attack on Dr. King. People who study Dr. King know this. Dr. King did not think, and John Lewis has talked about this also. Okay, there was a piece on MSNBC. It was John Lewis and Diane Nash. I forgot exactly which one this was, but John Lewis has talked about this. So Dr. King did not think that women should have permanent leadership positions in the movement, and Ella Baker was passed over for a permanent leadership position in SCLC, and she ended up leaving the organization. But yeah, so a lot of the movement was led by African-American male Protestant ministers, things like this, and many of them were sexist. So rejecting Martin Luther King Jr.'s charismatic leadership, Ella Baker advised student activists organizing the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, to promote, quote, group-centered leaders, end quote, group-centered leaders, rather than the leader-centered style she associated with Dr. King's Southern Christian Leadership Conference, rather than the leader-centered style she is associated with the SCLC. Now, it was this grassroots leadership that Ella Baker credited for the success and longevity of the movement. Quote, "You see, I think that, to be very honest, the movement made Martin rather than Martin making the movement. This is not a discredit to him. This is, to me, as it should be." Okay, so she's saying that you can't have these movements led by charismatic leadership, one person. It needs to be a group-centered movement. It needs to be group-centered leadership. So if the charismatic leader, something happens to them, the movement doesn't get derailed. It's not focused on one person. It's not focused on personalities. Let's see here. In let's see, I'm gonna skip over some of the stuff that's redundant. So Baker joined the NAACP in 1952 as president of the New York. She joined again in 1952 as president of the New York City branch in 1956, along with Stanley Levison and Bayard Rustin, co-founded in friendship the organization founded to provide aid to local movements in the South, including the Montgomery bus boycott. In January 1958, Ella Baker moved to Atlanta to organize SCLC's Crusade for Citizenship, a campaign to help enforce voting rights for African-American citizens. She ran SCLC's Atlanta headquarters, and after executive director John Tilley, Tilley, resigned in April 1959, she filled in until a permanent director was hired the following year. In addition to her criticism of SCLC's organizing philosophy, Ella Baker also experienced conflicts with her male colleagues. Andrew Young described Ella Baker as a, quote, determined woman, end quote, a determined woman. And he went on to say, quote, the Baptist Church had no tradition of women in independent leadership roles, and the result was dissatisfaction all around, end quote. So he's talking about the sexism that existed within the civil rights movement coming from African-American men towards African-American women. This is Andrew Young, who was there talking about the sexism in the movement. Now, following the February 1960 sit-ins in Greensboro, North Carolina, Ella Baker and Dr. King called a conference of student activists at Shaw University. The result of this April 1960 meeting was a student-led organization known as SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Already serving in an advisory capacity to the growing student movement, Ella Baker left SCLC in August of 1960. In addition to continuing her involvement as an advisor to SNCC, Ella Baker served as a consultant to the Southern Conference Education Fund, throughout the mid-1960s and helped organize the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. She returned to New York in the late 1960s and remained active in the civil rights struggle until her death in 1986. Okay. So check out this piece here from, we're going to post this link here. This is from the King Institute at Stanford University. kinginstitute.stanford.edu. kinginstitute.stanford.edu. This is an entry for Ella Josephine Baker. Ella Josephine Baker. Okay, so happy birthday to Ella Baker, December 13th. She was born in 1903, passed away in 1986. All right, let's see. So the article that I referenced, but I showed you, but didn't give you the name of it. This is going back to talking about the article from The Atlantic, dealing with what happened in the 2016 campaign. Working class white people voting for Trump. It was cultural anxiety that drove white working class voters to Trump. It was cultural anxiety that drove white working class voters to Trump. This is from May 9th, 2017, from TheATlantic.com. It's an extensive article that breaks this down. A new study finds that fear of societal change, not economic pressure, motivated votes for the president among non-salaried workers without college degrees. A new study finds that fear of societal change, not economic pressure, motivated votes for the president for Donald Trump among non-salaried workers without college degrees. Okay. Basically what they're talking about is this is the fear of the browning of America. That's what that's what this was all about. Okay. And that's what's taking place now too with a lot of them. It's the fear of the browning of America and the fear of the year 2043, when demographers and the U.S. Census Bureau predict that white people will no longer be the majority population in this country. And not all white people fear this, but there's about 74 million that do, because they voted for Trump. Okay. That's what this is about. All right. So we did that. Let's go to this last segment here, and we'll talk about this some on the Wednesday show. And once again, we're here Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time. We're on 9-10 a.m. the Superstation WFDF here in Detroit, and we usually go over. We continue on our social media platforms because we're only on for an hour. I do radio here in Detroit. We're only on for an hour. And then we're still on Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to go to this clip here. We'll talk about this on a Wednesday night show. On the TV show Sister Circle Live, DeAndre Whitfield was on, and he wrote a book, and he was talking about the difference between a grown man and a grown male. The difference between a grown man and a grown male. Okay. So I want to play this clip, and we'll discuss this on our show Wednesday. Let me go to this clip here. Just a second.
A grown male walks into the room looking to serve himself first.
A grown male.
A grown male.
It's a
so
difference,
a
guys.
man looks to be of service. A grown male looks to be served.
Oh my God! Listen, I'm almost about to walk out. I gotta leave. I don't know what else to do. I need you to. No, seriously.
Yes,
And I think a lot of women are in relationships with grown males and in marriages with grown males, and then you end up getting divorced because you were in a marriage with a grown male,
exactly
and
that.
not
So,
a man.
Exactly that. So here's what I want you to think of.
All right.
Think of yourself. Think of yourself in a relationship, in a home, in a bed with a boy who is 15 years old, who just took over the body of a 35-year-old male. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The difference between a grown man and a grown male. All right. A grown man looks to be of service. A grown male looks to be service. The grown man looks to add to your life positively, to serve you, to be there to help support your grown male looks to be service, looks to take away. Okay. So that's what he's talking about. Very interesting. I agree with him. Very interesting. Let me know what you think. You can post your comments here. Also, we posted the link. Now that's part of, that's like a 1-minute excerpt of a overall, the full clip, the full interview is about 8 minutes. Okay. So we'll share some of that on our Wednesday night show. All right. Hey, visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All of my DVD lectures are there. My digital downloads also. We have a recommended reading list of about 70 books. You can read articles I've written also. I need to read articles. I haven't written articles and maybe. Email us at customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. We run your commercial when we rebroadcast these shows. We can create a video commercial or you can send one to us. And then also in the audio podcast version of these shows, we're on 9 different audio podcast platforms. Your commercial will be there as well. Okay. So we have a few more spots left. Email us at customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We air shows and broadcasts throughout the day on our social media platforms also. Okay. On our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network on Facebook. All right. So email us at customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Let's see here. All right, so that's going to do it for us. Look, we got to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior is not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.